for the ultimate source of inspiration, knowledge, and entertainment, look no further. Network Kingdom is a unique platform that brings together experts from various industries. Through networking and collaboration, we create inspiring conversations that educate, entertain, and motivate our listeners. Whether you're a business professional, an entrepreneur, or simply someone looking to grow their knowledge base.
Hey people, I'm here again, and of course, I always bring you the most interesting guests. Hi, Reginald. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being on our podcast. So I am so looking forward to part 2.
Yes, I want to talk about how I was talking about how God turns your pain into purpose and how it got worse for me. One of the big things that God showed me, and as I counsel people and I tell people I literally lived this, I was married before, for 8 years and ended up getting a divorce. And I got a beautiful son out of it. But my first marriage, me and my ex-wife were having a problem having children. And she had got pregnant once and had all the symptoms, sickness, everything. And when she went to the hospital, the doctor said, there's no heartbeat in here. There's no fetus. And she's like, what? And there's something called blightum, ovum, whatever it's called. And she was really mad with God. And that was one of the things that God was showing me, that her faith wasn't intact for the call on my life. You just can't match with anybody. God puts you with the right people for his purpose. And I ended up getting God permissive will because I wasn't patient. That's a whole nother book. But she was done with trying to have children. A couple of years went by, and one day I'm sitting in the living room working on some business stuff, and she came in and she was all excited. She had watched Joel Osteen's message, just double for your trouble. God will give you double for your trouble. And she was all excited, like, I want to try again. And I was like, all right. But she said, I don't just want to have one child. I want 2. I was 40 years old. She was 34 at the time. She's like, she want to have 2 children. I'm like, man, inside of me, I'm like, we barely get along. We're up and down, we're arguing, and I'm trying to start a business. I'm 40 years old. What am I do with 2 little kids? But I didn't say it to her. But I agreed, and a couple of months later, she got pregnant again. This time when I was on my side job, driving from work, she called me and said, I went to the doctor and I went without you because I didn't want you to feel a certain way if it was the same thing. And she started getting happy. She said, the doctor heard a heartbeat. I was like, okay. And she said, the doctor heard 2 heartbeats. And I almost drove off the side of the road. I said, you gotta be kidding me. I was like, God, you honored this woman's prayer? I was blown away. And so I was like, okay, God, maybe the pregnancy is gonna bring me and my wife at that time closer. And so then we started believing, and now you're going along with faith. I'm like, God, we don't have any children. I want the best of both worlds. I want a boy and a girl. We're both believing. We go and get the sexes, and it'll turn out, he said, yes, you have a boy and a girl. I was like, oh my God, God is answering. Everything was going awesome. So that was in the time that I'm traveling, doing events. And now she really wasn't a part of the business as much because that was the problem. She's more 9 to 5. I'm the business guy. It was a lot of things that we wasn't on one accord. And now she's excited and she's traveling with me, and we're getting inboxes and calls and like, praise God, y'all didn't have one. He gave you 2, double for your trouble. It's a big testimony. So now I'm at home, 15 weeks into the pregnancy, 15 weeks she's pregnant. And I was downstairs watching TV and I heard her scream, like a screech. And I go upstairs and she was standing over a puddle of water. And I'm like, from what I know from pregnancy, that's not good. But I immediately went into there's no way God would do this to me. I'm a man of God. I'm rebuking it. God is going to bless you. All that big Christian stuff. She said, well, maybe I peed on myself because she had fibroids growth in her. Maybe the pressure on her cervix made her bladder bust. And I'm like, okay, maybe that's what it was. So we left her alone. She took a shower, laid down. And I heard a worse screech. I came upstairs and she was sitting on the edge of the steps. And she said, look. And look, it was 2 little feet dangling, hanging out.
Oh, no.
So she looks in my eyes and like, I've never seen no fear in your eyes like that. I don't know if she looked or she felt it, but in my eyes, she knew something wrong. We rushed to the hospital and doctor said, yes, I hate to tell you, I can tell from your 15 weeks, you lost your little girl. So I didn't have time to be angry, mourn, because I still had a child in there. So I'm telling her, you got to stay strong. We still got a little boy. And she's trying to, again, there's no more God. She's mad again. And I'm just playing the gospel music. I know to stay strong. I don't, who else I'm going to do without God? That's my thoughts. So she's having operations. She had 2 stitched. They stitched her up to keep my son inside of her. So 27 weeks go by. I'm laying in the delivery room. I mean, in her bed, the hospital room. I'm on the couch. She's on the bed. It's like 2 a.m. All I hear is shuffling and moving around. And I think the nurse said that there's a umbilical cord is wrapped around his neck. So he got to come out right now. And I said, 27 weeks? He was so small. He was a preemie at 2 pounds, 2 pounds and 1 ounce. He was a preemie. But when he came out, he was screaming. So I said, okay, he doesn't have to be revived.
This is a strong boy.
But then he was diagnosed with cerebral palsy.
Whoa.
So now I got a beautiful 5-year-old son turning 6 in August, but he's not walking yet. He can't walk. He's in a wheelchair. And so now I'm trying to hold strong. I after that, and I didn't believe that at first. I'm like, nah, God is going to heal him. Everything. I'm always big faith. That's what I'm known for. So I go home, and now it's my time to talk to God because I didn't have time before. I had to be strong for her. They're settled in the hospital. My son is in NICU, breathing on tubes, but he's okay. Besides, the cerebral palsy. And I go home, I'm like, God, how did this profit your will? How is this your purpose? Why would you allow my child? People are getting happy. They were praising God, praising your name because we had 2, and you let my child die. And I remember what he told me in prison, that he had a purpose for it. It didn't just give me peace, but it kind of helped because I remember, because when you're in the darkest time, you got to remember what God told you.
Yeah.
You got to remember what was told to you. But while I'm in my pain, it was like I had a vision. What flashed before my eyes was MADD. It stood for Mothers Against Drunk Driving. So the woman who had turned her, she lost her 13-year-old daughter to an ex. It's been around since the 80s. She made a global program for drunk drivers. And then God showed me a vision of this doll right here, Reggie the Lion. So this is a prototype, but Reggie the Lion, he showed me, I got books.
Can I see what's written? Can I see what's written on the door?
Oh, God made. This God made this on the doll. This is the prototype right here. So I have different prototypes that we're working with China from getting it right. But what it is he speaks, you're not going to be able to hear it because of the prototype, but it's hard to hear it.
Yeah.
But what it does is he speaks positive affirmations. But when I say God gave me a vision, so telling kids they're smart, you're strong, God loves you, you are a winner, you can do it, prayer is powerful. I wrote all this down. I got it. It's like water coming to me, writing it down, movie script. And so as time goes by, I started going into different businesses, investors, and everything, talking about Reginald Foreman. And that's when they started showing me that God was giving me a glimpse, but he wasn't ready for me to move yet, because I'm still attached to the wrong wife. We ended up getting a divorce. I had been on CBN, TBN. I was honored by Black Enterprise. I was on the front of the newspapers. I was going strong. And then after I got divorced from my ex-wife, I ended up homeless. I was living in friends' houses. I was living on couches.
That's part of the part 2.
Yeah, I ended up homeless after doing all that great stuff. Wow. And God said, because I was chasing success, I had got so much that I wanted to be a multi-millionaire. I'm going to make it, because I wanted to show all the people who did me wrong, look what I did. And God said I had the wrong vain reason. He said, I call you to ministry. I call you to do ministry. But of course, business is a part of it because that's my gift, but it's not first. And in the midst of that, man, when I came out of that, God got healing with my son, had to go through it. And I moved and met my wife. And I'm down in Alabama. I met her on a dating app. That's a whole nother story. But I met my purpose. And we've been going strong in ministry and business. These are the characters. So
wow.
This is the cartoon character of my son.
You said Reggie Lion.
Reggie the Lion. This is Reggie the Lion. It's Reggie the Lion and Friends.
Yeah.
Like Mickey Mouse and Friends. We're going after Mickey Mouse,
Yeah.
like that big. All of these are different characters I'm creating. All of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So this book right now, we're selling so many. This is Bible superheroes, about teaching about the superheroes in the Bible.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, this book is selling a lot. And he just told me to write this 2 months ago. It's another part of the story. This is the first book I did. And Jeremiah is supposed to be an image of my son before, him walking. My son has glasses and a wheelchair, so I just made a real character of him. But this is all the stuff that God was downloading. And now, like I said, after God allowed me to go through my humble space and my renewing, now we're traveling back all over, doing the radios, interviews. I was down for 2 years, not really. I was doing business, but not as much, because God was renewing my mind and review. And then 2 months ago, 4 a.m. in the morning, I wake up early all the time, but I wake up and God started downloading this book to me. I'm over here trying to get the China to get the dolls done. Everybody's waiting on the dolls. I know it's $1 million idea. I'm over here, but God will shift you his way. So when he told me to write the book, I wrote the book, and it's about Jeremiah. They're talking about Bible superheroes, and it teaches the kids that through faith, obedience, courage, those are the superpowers that is obtainable to us. And that's what the people in the Bible did. And like I said, I had one pastor buy 100 books. I mean, churches has been buying the books, and I said, God, I wasn't expecting this. I'm over here trying to put the dolls out and going to Toys R Us and do all that. And God told me one time when I was at work, he said, you're trying to make a life, and I'm trying to give you a life. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You're trying to make your own life, and I want to give you a life. And that's what happens a lot of times. We write out all our plans, we plan everything out, and then it's like we'll open the door and say, God, follow me. This is what I want to do, instead of saying, God,
exactly.
which way do you want me to go?
And then expect him to, yeah.
And that's what he's been doing. So now, besides that, I got writing 6 books. This is my personal book that's sold everywhere. Live Determined. Don't let your struggles bully your dreams.
Yeah, that's true.
And like you said before, I have people that approach me about making a film. And a prophet, is a woman of God, came to me. She's in business and she's deep. She said, Reggie, because I had been on TV and people already asking before the doll. This was because I started in fashion. This is my logo. I started as a fashion designer. I was almost on Macy's shelves. I was going hard as a faith-based fashion designer before the divorce and all that, and God set me down again. But so people are already like, you have like it's a movie called Antoine Fisher with Denzel Washington and Derek Luke was in. You have a story like that. You should do a movie, and I want to help you. But the woman told me, she said, Reggie, you shouldn't do your movie right now, because you're doing a global toy line. You're an African American ex-offender. You have to be from prison who can show everybody how, no matter what you've been through, you can change. And you're creating a global toy line. You don't want to do your movie without having that finished. And I listened, and that's what God wanted me to wait until the full story came out. So in a nutshell, that's where I am right now.
Wow. I just got a degree. Wow, that's so powerful. That is powerful. And I know that we have only just scratched the surface. So we're certainly doing this again. I don't even know where to start with the questions. I don't know what to say. Usually I would ask people the challenges they faced. You have told us 1,000,001 challenges. Usually I would ask, how did they pull through? I'm speechless. I'm super proud of you, and you are a huge source of inspiration.
Yeah, I want to leave. This is the main thing I had to do, though. I had to renew my mind, because when you come so much abuse, negative, I started watching success stories. I tell people in the travel, my main thing is you got to keep your spiritual and your mental tank full. And I ask people in the audience, what do you do when you're getting ready to go on a big journey? What do you do to your car? Tell me, what do you have to do to your vehicle?
You fuel it.
You have to put gas in it. So we're on a journey in life. So if your car needs, your body needs to be full. So when I go through a problem, I have to pray immediately. I can't wait 3-4 days. A lot of people are trying to take on the world, and they're not pouring no positive spiritual stuff in. So how are you ready for the attacks? How are you ready for when your family doesn't support you? When you get devastated every time. Oh no! But when you're feeling yourself, I wake up 4 a.m. I'm in the Word. I'm watching success stories because I start finding out the Oprah, the Tyler Perry, whoever, Jim Carrey, who was homeless from the big actor. All these people, they went through a lot of things. Then why did they?
Oh yeah.
They bleed the same blood that I bleed. They bleed the same blood, but their mindset, like Will Smith, and I found out, even though I came from the Chicago projects and my mother's on drugs, I'm created in God's image, and now I just got to hone in on my gift. I have to develop what's inside of me, and that's what I started doing.
Absolutely. You know, I like that you touched that, because I was actually going to ask you, so how does one renew their mind? And you've actually made it so simple. Even I have picked on that. So yes, I always say to people that you need to be careful what you feed yourself, because that's what, basically what you take in is what you're going to bring out. Yeah, so when you feed yourself, which is why I also warn myself and anyone who cares to listen about the time you spend on social media and what you do on social media, because sometimes you think you're just browsing through, but your mind is actually absorbing all that information, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And when you don't feed your mind with what serves you, then whatever you fed your mind will serve you. That's basically what it is. So, I mean, what you just said has reinforced that, you know, to me. What do you watch? What do you listen to? All these things prepare you for the days ahead. Like I would say to my coaching clients, you should always have a reservoir of reference points, you know. So when things happen to you, you know, you have something to refer to, or you know, an incident to refer to. And when there isn't anything like that, then things you read and things you watch become reference points, and it could be positive, and it could also be negative. So, I mean, I can see how that has really transformed you. And I mean, nothing happens by accident. It's not by accident that you're here today. And it's not by accident that you went to prison. And to be quite honest, I'm a Christian. I'm grateful to God that you are where you are today. I still can't say that, oh, because I'm a Christian, it was easy, or it was, or, you know, it's easy to say it was your purpose, but that's
but it wasn't easy in the Bible days. What Noah and other people went into that we think some people don't believe is real. That wasn't easy. Trusting God and building in your flesh is supposed to be hard because your flesh fights against it. And that's how God showed when the little boy was born blind, the scripture. And the apostle asked Jesus, why was the boy born blind? Did he sin? Did his parents sin? And Jesus told him, no, it's so that the power of God can be shown through him. So there's miracles that have to happen so that other people can believe. And some of us, all of us are chosen, but some of us, we obey the calling and we're ready for it. Are we ready? Not all the time. But I know that I was called to help people, you know, turn their pain to purpose and know that God is still alive.
Wow. Look, Reggie, so we've had a part 1, we've had a part 2. Don't worry, we're going to have a part 3 and a part 4. When are we expecting the toys?
Well, that's where right now the books are out, and that's what we're pushing, and I'm speaking and stuff. The doll itself, we're still in God's timing. I had two what do you call those companies? My brain just froze. I had 2 distribution companies that I was dealing with in China, and it didn't work, but we have another one. So right now they'll be out soon. I try to tell people I plan it, but it's really God. So I have the prototype. But right now, that if anybody,
I want them in Nigeria, and I want the Superheroes book. I have just one son who is old, but I have several children in church who are babies, and I know they would absolutely love that.
And that's the whole vision, to have them in all other countries, which God already showed me. And what I like though is that even these books, I made them coloring books, because now you're saying parents color with their kids and read.
They're going to love them.
Yeah, their parents, they still love the color. Like you'll have the pictures of the while they're speaking,
wow.
you see that's Ruth and Naomi, and they're sitting there talking about it, and you're reading and coloring. So God has given me a vision to do some great things
Wow.
to bring families together. So if
My
anybody,
children are going to be happy. If we get them early, then it means we're having an early Christmas.
I definitely would love to get them over there to you. And then we'll let you know when the Reginald line, the dolls are ready.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Reggie. This has been amazing. And you've given me a lot of food for thought. So, guys, I'm sure you guys are just as, would I say excited? Or you're going to think deeper and look inwards after listening to this. You would want to reach out to Reggie. Reggie, how can they get in touch with you if they want to?
My website is, my name is reginaldforeman.com. And on Instagram is Reginald_Foreman.
Awesome. Awesome. This is totally amazing. Thank you so much, Reginald. And to you guys, I'm out. See you next week.
You've been listening